know that that response has to be flexible and it has to be industry relevant. So today we're going to hear about those heavily subsidised courses and indeed free courses in areas where there are employment opportunities in the economy. So in terms of the format of the event, we are going to hear from our panelists first, and then we will answer any questions you may have at the end. So if I could ask you to please use the Q&A feature to ask your question, and we will have plenty of time at the end to go through the queries. Also to inform you that this event is being recorded, and we will send the recording to all participants as a follow-up.
The unemployed, formerly self-employed, returners, so those who've been out of work or out of the workforce for some time, that could be for personal reasons or it could be because of unemployment, and those in the workforce who wish to increase and enhance their skills. So really everybody can apply for Springboard, but it does focus on the unemployed, the formerly self-employed and those returners, because first of all, it prioritizes the people who may have been out of education for some time and need to get back in. Okay, so this part of the presentation is very short, but it's just to tell you that basically everybody is entitled to apply for Springboard courses, but these are the people who are prioritized. Okay. So I'll hand off to the Atlantic Technological University now.
Thanks, Magella. Next up, we're going to have Catherine O'Reilly from ATU. Thanks, Catherine.
That's great. Thank you very much, Hilary, and good afternoon, everybody. A very warm welcome to you all to this webinar. So for me today, I'm just going to give you a quick idea and overview as to how to actually apply for a Springboard course. So the most important thing to note is that applying for a Springboard program is done directly on the Springboard platform. So in order to do that, you literally you can Google Springboard courses, you can type https springboardcourses.ie into the address bar, and it will bring you straight to the Springboard platform. You don't apply directly to the third level higher education institute that you want to apply for a place in. You must apply on the Springboard platform. If you're a returner to Springboard, in that you've applied for a place before, you simply log onto the platform using the same credentials that you would have used before. So you still only need to have this, you can use the same account that you used before. There's no need to set up a new account. If you haven't, then the important first step is that you register for an account on Springboard. It's simply just on the top right-hand corner of the screen. You click on register and you pop in your email address that you want to use and a password, and then you're good to go. So after that, the next important area on the platform is you can search for courses. So you can search by provider, you can search by keyword, you can search by level of study, you can search under any sort of criteria that you wish, and you can search through quite a number of courses with quite a number of providers to actually decide which courses you want to apply to. So you can apply for up to 10 courses at the same time on the Springboard platform. But the important thing to note is if you are successful in any of those applications and you accept your place on that program, you are then automatically opting out of any of the other choices that you have put up there. You don't get the option to successfully accept a place on more than one program. So it's important to remember that when you're coming up with your choice of program that you want to come up with on the platform. So after you've searched and browsed on the various courses and you've chosen your course, each course page on the Springboard platform has the option to click on Apply Now. So you simply apply. Each higher education institute may have a slightly different mechanism of applying. Some, it will just be a straightforward application form. Others may ask you to upload a CV and copies of qualifications at that stage. So it's important that you have all your documentation ready before you actually go to submit your application. The first step in the application is actually a self-declaration. So it's important to read that and make sure that you agree with all of the statements in it. The most important of those statements is that you are confirming your eligibility for Springboard. So not only when you apply for a course in Springboard are you academically assessed, but you're also assessed to make sure you meet the Springboard eligibility requirements. So depending on which category of applicant you fall into, so Majella referenced the different types of categories that are eligible for Springboard. Those categories will require you to evidence through the provision of documentation further down the road in your application, but you will be required to provide evidence of various categories. So while you can go onto the platform and search for your program, it's really important to check out the Am I Eligible section, because you may not be actually be eligible to secure Springboard funding. So once you have all of your applications made, you can revisit those applications at any time. There are various statuses that your application could fall under. So if your application is appearing that it's still in draft, that means you haven't actually submitted your application to the higher education provider. So it's important that you make sure that you've done that. If you see that your application is at a submitted stage, then you've obviously submitted your application. If your application is at pending, it means that your application has been taken by the provider that you have applied to, and it's been pulled into that provider's own systems, and they start to manage the application from there. If for whatever reason you see that your application has been unsuccessful, it effectively means potentially you didn't meet the academic eligibility or you didn't meet the Springboard eligibility, but I'm sure whoever you apply to will explain that to you. So for us, we'll say, for example, in ATU, we would clearly tell you why you haven't been successful, and we would also advise on other courses of action that you can take or other programs of study that would be open to you that might be able to bridge a gap or just to see you in a better position if you were to reapply for the course down the road. And obviously then, if you see that your application has been successful, that's absolutely fantastic news, and academically you've been assessed to be eligible for that program. It's important then that you go in and you accept your place on the platform. So once you're notified that your application is successful, it's important that you then log in onto the platform again and you accept your place on that program. So in effect, the most important thing to remember again is that you go to the Springboard platform to submit your application. You make sure that you're eligible under the Springboard eligibility rules and that you can apply for up to 10 programs. And again, just a little reminder that once you accept your place on the platform for a particular program, you're automatically ruling yourself out of any other programs that you have applied for a place on. So that in effect is how to submit your Springboard application. Thanks, Hilary.
Thanks so much for that, Catherine. Just a reminder, if anybody does have any questions, to please use the Q&A function on screen, and we will come to the questions towards the end. But now I'd like to hand over to Stephen O'Donnell from ATU, who's going to bring us through some of the Springboard Plus funded programs from ATU. Thank you, Stephen.
Thanks, Hilary, and thanks, Catherine. Thanks, everybody, for joining us this afternoon. Catherine has just taken you through the application process there. I'm going to just chat a little bit about ATU and focus on the programs that are available to apply directly to the ATU through Springboard. I suppose there's 38 programs in total, spanning level 6 to level 9 up to master's programs across multiple academic disciplines, kind of focusing on industry relevant upskilling and reskilling knowledge and opportunities. So hopefully there is a program on the list of 38 that is, I suppose, of interest to your own personal and professional ambitions. And I say we would be delighted to receive an application from you in the near future through Springboard. Before I go through the programs, Springboard is a very popular initiative. So again, I suppose just to encourage you, if you are thinking about applying for it, to maybe get actioning it fairly early. We do receive a lot of applications, so the sooner you can get your application in, the sooner we can begin to process it, and you'll have a better chance maybe of being successful in getting a funded place on any program that you apply for. Again, if you're not sure exactly of what program you want to apply for right now, as Catherine said, you can apply for up to 10. So again, maybe just have a rough idea of what programs you want to apply for and get the programs, get the program applications and submit it to give yourself the best chance. For the ATU, most of our programs are online. So again, which campus it's based on is maybe not overly relevant. There are some programs that are blended and on campus. On the application website itself, it does give you a full description whether it's online, blended, or on campus. But I say most of them are online, so you won't have to be overly concerned about which campus it comes from. In relation to the courses, say out of the 38, I suppose they kind of roughly split into different disciplines or sectors or themes, if you like. And just starting off with computing, we do have a large number of computing programs available through Springboard, spanning from level 6 up to level 9. Starting off with level 6, we've got certificates in digital skills, 60 credits. Diploma in Applied Data Technologies, again, starts level 7. Again, you can move up to other level 7s in cybersecurity. There's also level 8s in software development and cybersecurity and risk compliance. Again, the entry requirements for all these programs are listed on the Springboard website itself. So again, as Catherine explained, you'll again search for your course and you'll find a tab for more information. So again, you can search through the specific entry requirements for each program listed on the website. Again, continuing on with the computing programs, there's conversion courses in computing also. So if you haven't got a qualification in a computing discipline, but you do hold a level 8 qualification in another discipline, you can apply for a conversion course, and that's the higher diploma in computing 1-year conversion. You've also got postgraduate diplomas, level 9s in cybersecurity, cloud technologies, big data analytics and artificial intelligence, DevOps and supply chain. So again, if you do have a base degree level 8 in computing and you want to specialize into a particular area, some of those level 9 programs may be of interest to you. Moving on from the computing discipline programs, we also have programs related to business, and that includes digital marketing practice at level 6. You have a certificate in management leadership at a level 7. We've also got a higher diploma in science and business analytics, which again can be related to computing and business also. And we have a certificate in social media and web marketing, specifically focusing on the tourism sector at a level 7. So again, those programs can also be found on the Springboard website. There's also a postgraduate diploma again in business analytics as well as a level 9 there. Moving on to the construction, engineering and manufacturing disciplines or areas, we've got Bachelor of Engineering add-ons level 7 in manufacturing engineering. We've got a level 8 in construction contracts management, a level 8 in fire safety engineering, and another level 8 in the Bachelor of Science in Honours in Industrial Engineering. We've also got a postgraduate certificate at level 9 in mechanical and electrical quantity surveying, and there's also a level 7 certificate in Revit and 4D building information and modelling available as well. Under water treatment management and green energy, there's some programs there related to water wastewater treatment operations at level 6, and there's also a level 7 in electrical vehicle technology. And again, we have a number of level 9s in the sector as well, with the certificate in marine spatial planning, data analytics for offshore wind energy management, and we have a only full master's program there in applied marine conservation at level 9 as well. There's also a postgraduate certificate in water services management. So again, further information on the website as well. And then just the last sector, I suppose, in relation to medical, biopharma and health related disciplines, we've got a certificate in validation technologies, a certificate in biopharmaceutical processing, certificate in biopress engineering, and they're level 6 and level 7s. And then moving on to our level 8 programs, there's medical device regulatory affairs, quality programs. There's a certificate in building digital healthcare communities, certificate in biopharmaceutical science, and a certificate in health project management, and they're all level 8s. And then we have one level 9 there, and postgraduate diploma in advanced biopharmaceutical science. And then the last one again is certificate in Lean Sigma, which is quite popular. It's a level 7. It's part-time. It's a micro credential, but again, quite a good qualification for anybody interested in that. Say all these programs and the information are available on the Springboard website. There's obviously quite a number of them there. I say they're all part-time and varying credit levels available to them. But again, that information is outlined on the Springboard website as well. So that kind of concludes the programs that are available in the ATU through the Springboard website. Again, I suppose I would encourage you, if you are interested in any of the programs and you do want any follow-up information, again, do reach out to myself or Catherine here, and we will be fairly quickly to follow up with you. Or again, if you do have any issues in making your application, do reach out, and again, we'll forward you on some further information that will make sure you get your application submitted to us. So hopefully that was of use. Say quite a number of courses there over different disciplines and sectors, but I say do take a look through what's on the Springboard website, and hopefully you'll find something that is of interest to you. So thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Stephen. I'd encourage you all, as Stephen said, to go on to the Springboard website and have a look at the full range of programmes there. And as Stephen said, if there is anything from an ATU side, please be sure to contact either Stephen or Catherine, and they will certainly help you. And now I'd like to hand you back to Magella from University of Galway, who's going to speak about the offerings from the University of Galway. Thank you, Magella.
Thank you. Hi again, everyone. I'll tell you a little bit about each of the Springboard courses that are offered by Galway, by the University of Galway. So there are 9 courses offered, and as Stephen said there, if you go to the Springboard page, you'll find details on all of them and the person to contact and so on. But I'll just give you a little high-level overview of each one. So there are 9 courses, as I mentioned, and they're starting off with level 8. So first of all, there's a diploma in digitization of manufacturing processes, and this course is designed for those interested in learning how to move from a data-oriented manufacturing process to digital, and therefore, improving their carbon-free involvement and reducing their carbon technologies. So the program uses a workplace inspired project to teach the modules, but it can also use another type of project if that's preferred. So then there's a diploma in digitally enabled medical devices, and this course is designed for those wishing to specialize in medical device with electronic connectivity and allowing the deployment by robotic surgery. And this program uses, again, a workplace inspired project to teach the modules. So for both of those, you'll get all of the detail online and the further people to contact if you need extra information. But hopefully, if you have any questions, I'll be able to answer them towards the end. The 2 of those are associated with each other, but they're separate courses. There's a certificate in medical technologies, regulatory affairs and operations. And this course introduces the product development lifecycle and the role of medtech regulatory or quality professionals. There's been a big growth in this area, and students learn about the regulations and skills required for this area, which is constantly changing. And the course is designed to meet the growing demand for quality people in the medtech sector. Okay. So then on to the level 9 courses. We'll start off with the MSc in Ag Innovation, and this delivers the skills needed to develop new products or businesses in Irish agriculture and thus strengthens the rural communities. The course provides learners with the ability to develop and test new products. It develops an innovation mindset, increases communications, marketing and financial planning skills, and it essentially gets someone, gives them the skills for launching a new business. Then there's the Professional Diploma in Practical AI for software developers. This provides students with the skills necessary to understand, build and deploy AI in customer-facing projects. And again, as we all know, this is a growing area. There's a growing need for AI-skilled professionals. This course can help software developers to enhance their careers, but it's not limited to software developers. So it's important to recognise that. Okay. On to the next level 9, there's a postgrad cert in creative technologies and emerging media. This one combines creative practice, software skills, and cutting-edge methodologies in creative technologies. The course introduces students to the design and development of immersive and interactive media content. Again, it uses generative AI, and you'll be using generative AI if you're a student on this course. And on this one, the student can opt for an online or a blended option of taking the course. Both are available. The postgraduate diploma in construction and innovation. This enables students to develop skills in sustainability or modern methods of construction. And again, as we all know, construction is a huge area. There's constant discussion about construction and the best ways of doing it. So graduates can expect to take up potentially a leadership position in the construction industry after finishing this course. And the idea is to improve and aid the modernization of the sector. Okay, then we go to two more level 9 courses, but one is an ICT conversion course and one is a micro-credential. And just to make a point about the two of these, to apply for, if you've graduated in the last 12 months prior to the start of either of these courses, then you're not eligible to apply for a micro-credential or a level 9 conversion course, but you are eligible to apply for other Springboard courses. So you're just slightly limited for the next two courses. So for the postgraduate diploma in software development, cloud computing and DevOps, this course is for those that are looking to change careers. So it's a conversion course and move into opportunities in cloud-based software development and DevOps. Again, it's a growing area. It's growing very rapidly. This is a non-campus course with 2 days of block delivery per week. Those days are Thursday and Friday. There's a dedicated workspace for students too, so they can work with their peers, and the course involves industry placement or a group project. So, you know, the whole idea of being on campus with your peers should also help with the whole idea of teamwork and everything associated with it. And then finally, there's micro-credential. This course is in Green Labs Principles and Practice. It's a 10-credit online micro-credential. This introduces the key environmental concepts associated with green principles, such as climate change, plastic pollution, sustainability and biodiversity. It explores how psychology, sociology, ethics and certain economic models can shape responses to environmental challenges. The course delivers skills for reforming lab practices, and studies show that these measures can cut lab costs by 40%. So it makes it a very valuable course of study for those for the employers of the people who undertake these studies. So I hope that's given you a good idea of the courses that are offered by the University of Galway. And as Stephen mentioned, it's similar in the University of Galway, or the same, with only 9 courses on offer. Demand is very high, so the sooner you apply, the better for yourself. We've started to see some applications rolling in already. So, all right, look, thank you very much. And if you have any questions, I know some of my colleagues are on the team, and I'm happy to answer as much as I'll be able to about each course.
Thanks so much, Majella. We're now going to move on to the question and answers session. I do see some questions that have come in through the chat, so please, if you do have any, be sure to get them across to us and we'll answer them now as best we can. But I'll now hand you over to my colleague, Denise Rocks from Regional Skills West. Thanks, Denise.
Thanks so much, Hilary. And I think we can stop sharing the presentation now so that we'll be able to see everybody. There we go. So yeah, I think an initial question has come in, a couple of questions. Hold on, here we see. So one is a specific question. This is for you, Stephen. Hopefully not too specific. I completed the cert in digital mapping and GIS at ATU, and I'm currently looking at the cert in marine spatial planning. I'm wondering if this program includes satellite imagery and remote sensing, please. Not clear from the module descriptions. Thank you. Not to put you on the spot, Stephen. But does the PG cert in marine spatial planning include satellite imagery and remote sensing? No
problem. Again, that's a Galway specific course out of ATU Galway, so I'm going to have to follow up with the coordinator down there. It's Maria, is it? Maria, I'll try and come back to you on it. I don't want to give you wrong information, so I do want to double check with my coordinator down there what's included in the program for 2025. Is that okay? Denise, do we get the contact details for these applicants to follow?
Yeah, we will see who's registered. So Maria, if you've registered, I think we'll see your details. If not, we'll be sharing Stephen's details anyway after
Okay,
this.
so again, Maria, if you want to send me an email afterwards with the same question, just to have it as well, I'll make sure and follow up with it. Hopefully that's okay.
And we have another more general question about what do the employment rates look like following completion of the computing courses, especially things like digital media? So I don't know who wants to take that one.
Sure, I could take that one, Denise.
Thanks,
No problem.
Catherine.
This is Catherine. No problem. I suppose what's important to remember is that Springboard is quite a specific initiative in that it specifically targets areas where the government considers there to be gaps in employment. So the submission process for funding for higher education institutes is very specific and it's very detailed, and really and truly the HEA themselves would only fund programs under this initiative where they considered there to be gaps in employment or areas where there is opportunity to upskill and reskill. The other thing to remember too, I suppose, from an ATU perspective, is that all of the programs that have been approved for Springboard funding as part of the design of that program would have seen a very heavy amount of industry engagement. So the programs themselves would have had a lot of industry engagement as part of the validation for that program. So the programs will be very much designed around that. So in terms of answering the question about employment rates and what they're like after completion, as providers as well, we're also tasked with surveying students at certain points after they've completed their studies. And I know from an ATU perspective, we would see high rates of employment afterwards in the specific fields that people have qualified in, because we have to gather those statistics as part of those returns. But overall, from a Springboard perspective, all of the programs themselves will be very much designed to be employment specific, to make sure that they're meeting what employers want out there. So I would say yes, while we don't have specific percentages, the employment rates would be high upon completion of Springboard funded programs.
Thanks a million, Catherine. I don't know, Majella, do you want to add anything from the University of Galway's perspective on employment rates in general?
No, I think what Catherine has said it applies across the board, and like I mentioned on any of the courses, they're all areas that are growing with high demand for people to move into the industry. So I think we would tend to see high employment, and or people successfully managing to move careers after taking an ICT conversion course.
Thanks, Majella. I think Hilary, you have your hand up. Did you want to add some context?
No, actually, I wanted to move on to another area, Denise.
Oh, go on.
I suppose it's just I'm conscious of the fact that we were talking about the credits that are involved in some of the different programs, and we talked about kind of 30 credits, 60 credits, and 90 credits. So ECTS people would have seen on screen. I think it would be useful maybe if some of the panelists would like to give some guidance in terms of the study hour that's involved in a credit.
Excellent point, Hilary. Thank you. Who wants to take that question?
I can take that one.
Thanks, Catherine.
No problem. So effectively, yeah, a program can be any program that's up to 30 credits in duration would be considered a micro-credential. Any program over that would be considered a minor award or a special purpose award, but not to get too caught up in the terminology. Effectively, programs of study can be made up of numbers of credits. So for example, in ATU, programs would consist of 5, each module would be worth 5 credits or 10 credits. And that module of study would then determine the amount of direct contact hours that an individual will have with that lecture. So for example, for a 5 credit module, typically there would be a 1-hour lecture once a week for that module. For a 10 credit, it could be 1.5 to 2 hours direct contact hours with the lecture that you're delivering for. Some of the 90 credit higher credit programs might have a 30 credit thesis or something like that. And again, the amount of direct contact time you would have with the thesis supervisor would vary from person to person and topic to topic. But ultimately, for direct contact hours on taught modules, a 5 credit module, 1 hour of study a week, a 10 credit module, up upwards of 2 hours of study a week. But I suppose the joy of online and flexible learning, specifically with ourselves, is that all of the lectures are recorded. There's no mandatory attendance requirement to attend a lecture, so an individual can listen back on a recorded lecture if they can't make that evening live lecture, and then lecturers are available to answer questions and bits and bobs like that. But at a high level, that's kind of what you're talking about in terms of direct contact hours with a lecturer, and then ultimately the amount of time that an individual would spend outside of that themselves doing an extra bit of study or reading around a topic is kind of person specific, but in terms of the kind of direct contact time, that's kind of what you're looking at.
Thanks, Catherine.
Really
That's really helpful.
Thank you.
There are no more other questions coming through on the chat or Q&A. It's also an opportunity if anyone wants to take off their mic and unmute themselves and ask a question directly. You're welcome to do so as well. Or have we just answered everyone's questions so perfectly throughout the presentations? That must be it. Are there any other final points that anyone would like to highlight from the speaker side prior to wrapping up? Because I know most people are on their lunch break and they'll be keen to at least enjoy a little bit of their break before they go back to work.
Nothing specifically from an ATU perspective, just to encourage people to get their applications in as quickly as they can. As we've all said on the panel, that, you know, by the nature of the funding model, the programs are extremely popular, so places do get snapped up pretty quickly. So it's a bit like the sales spiel, but early application is definitely advised, just to give yourselves the best opportunity to get an application in.
Yeah, and just a reminder, that website is springboardcourses.ie. So apply through there. You can browse through all the courses. Obviously, we're very thankful to have University of Galway and Atlantic Technological University present their courses today. There are courses from a number of providers across the country. So if you didn't see a course today that suits you, definitely go on, have a look. You can download the entire list of courses. You can filter through courses based on your own skills needs, and find something that suits and get applying straight away to secure your place. And you know, Catherine, Steve and Magella, they're all Springboard points of contact for their organizations, and they're similar across all the institutions. So don't be afraid to get in touch. And if you're not sure if you can go for something, always ask and you'll be steered in the right direction.
Absolutely. We're more than happy to help anyone with the question.
Denise, I see a question there in the Q&A.
Is there one that's come through?
Yeah.
Hold the horses, we'll not hang up yet. So one question, thanks Aisling for your question. How strict are you on eligibility requirements? For example, does the marine conservation course require a degree in a related topic? Could other qualifications be considered? That's an excellent question, Aisling.
I'm happy to, I can't answer on the marine course, but just in general, the way that things operate, the eligibility requirements are there as much as possible. It's great if you have them, but if you don't, there's always the opportunity to apply through recognition of prior learning, and that could be you might have taken some modules in the past that might count towards getting in. You might have worked in the field, but you don't have a particular qualification in the field. All of your work experience, your experiential learning or prior learning of any type will improve your chances of getting on a course. So always get in touch with myself and I can direct you to the right person, or else get in touch with the person that's on the course details, and they'll be able to tell you about applying through recognition of prior learning.
Thanks so much for fielding that one, Magella. And yeah, Aisling, there are recognition of prior learning people dedicated to that in each of the education training providers. So as Magella said, they'll be able to put you in contact and help you through. We have a question here from Michelle. After applying, how long does it take to get a response to the application, typically?
From an ATU perspective, you're talking about 24 to 48 hours to get the initial response to the application, and then it's quite a quick turnaround to actually get notified if the application has been successful or not. Some of them take slightly longer depending on the nature of the application. If somebody's looking, for example, to be considered for recognition of prior learning, naturally that process could take slightly longer. But the initial contact out from us to a student after the application comes in would be within 24 to 48 hours. But then, as I say, the outcome to the actual success of that application or not could vary slightly depending if it's a very straightforward application, meets all the eligibility, academic and Springboard, or maybe it doesn't. It's not that clear.
Magella, did you want to add from the University of Galway perspective? Is it similar there?
It would be very much the same. They'll be offered on first come first served for most courses, but absolutely, if somebody's applying through RPL, it does take longer, and it does take longer also for yourself to get your application together. So you know, get in touch as soon as possible if you wish to go down that route.
And Stephen, you've been quiet there. Just a question around funding levels. What's it typically look like for Springboard, just to recap for those who might not be aware?
Again, if you are an employed applicant, Springboard does pay 90% of the course fee. So again, you can take a look at the website. Well, I know for the ATU courses, I'm not sure if it's the same down in Galway, Magella, but we do list the cost for the actual applicant on each of the individual courses. So if you do find a course that you're interested, go to the Springboard site again, look at the course information there, and it will tell you the cost for an employed applicant. But to say Springboard pay 90% of whatever the course fee is. If it's a level 6 course, or you're unemployed, or you're a returner, or formerly self-employed, then the courses are covered 100% for you, so there's no cost to the actual applicants themselves. Is that okay, Denise?
That's perfect. Thanks, Stephen. I think Jean from ATU,
Yeah,
did you
Stephen,
want to ask a question? Or
yeah, no, I just wanted to add to what Stephen was saying about the Springboard funding, and the level 6 is free for everyone, and level 7 to 9, the 90% funded. But there's an exception this year that wasn't included in previous years, and that's the micro-credentials.
Yes.
So the micro-credentials are 50% funded. So just a little extra bit. Yeah, sorry, Stephen.
No,
Yeah.
no, you're grand, yeah, perfect.
And even though the funding level for them is a bit lower, the actual cost of them is lower as well. So don't be worried about only being 50%. It's typically quite affordable compared to what it might otherwise be. Any other questions coming through that I've missed? Just give it a minute in case anyone has any last question they want to ask. No, it's looking like that's it. So we'll send around the presentation, we'll send around the contact details, and obviously the link to the Springboard Courses website itself. And do feel free to get in touch if there's anything else that's arisen that you're not sure about, or contact the people at the institution you're interested in applying to. As everyone mentioned, you can see the details directly on the Springboard Courses website as well for the particular people for each course that's being offered. We just want to thank all our panelists today. Thanks very much to Jello D from University of Galway, Stephen O'Donnell, ATU up in Donegal there, Catherine O'Reilly, ATU in the Sligo region, Jean, who's jumped in as an impromptu panelist, thank you very much, covering all of ATU's online courses, and of course my colleague Hilary McPartland from Regional Skills Northwest, who's emceed this also ably, thank you very much, and a thank you to Diana from Regional Skills West, who helped set up all the logistics around this event. So thank you very much, Diana. With that, we'll leave you, and we hope to be in touch and hear from you all soon.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.